Greetings again. We are going to do another episode of Cat vs. Trolls by popular request. If you're not familiar with this series, what we do is on my automotive repair channel for do-it-yourselfers, I basically look at our hate mail from various viewers and I attempt to engage them in an intellectual and philosophical debate so we can better understand their perspectives. Let's see how it goes. All right. If I recall correctly, somebody in a previous episode had requested violin music in the background, so we'll see what we can do to work that out. Sounds like a good idea. Let us commence and initiate our first intellectual conversation with MegaZamora, who states, "If I ever met you in person, I'd tear your f***ing head off, piss on your face, and down your throat." Interesting combat strategy. I know mine would be the opposite. I would probably use the bathroom before engaging in physical combat with somebody, but let's see how I respond here. "Well, now you have me afraid to turn my back to my computer screen just in case you attack me from behind it." Gotta love those keyboard warriors, don't you? MegaZamora responds, "Yeah, you just keep it up, tough guy. You wouldn't laugh in person, I can tell you that. You don't know who you're playing with. I served in the Special Forces for 8 years and am trained in Krav Maga and other hand-to-hand techniques." Impressive, but doubtful. I respond, "Sounds more like you trained in the Special Olympics than the Special Forces because it's spelled Krav Maga. There is no R. Or maybe Krav Maga is a martial art where you urinate and defecate on people, but I think that qualifies more as a fetish than a combat technique." Notice, by the way, that his spelling and syntax have been perfect throughout except for the martial art that he trained in 8 years, and he even used the correct possessive with your, so I have trouble believing that was a typo. How does he respond? "That was a typo, you You wouldn't say that to my face, or we'd see who gives the other a lesson. I eat bitches like you for breakfast." Supposedly it was a typo. I respond, "Do you eat these bitches before or after you defecate and urinate on them?" It's a legitimate question. MegaZamora responds, "I'm done wasting my time with you. You're nothing but talk, you piece of chicken." Well, I tried, but at least this next guy does go a little bit further into the debate. Let's see how he holds up. Lone Star 550, "How you ever got this many subs is beyond me. You should be in jail because you say you don't have any training, and yet here, H-E-A-R by the way, you are showing people how to do things. It's possessive, against the law to fix cars without proper certification." I respond, "It's against the law to fix cars without certification? Why are you all over me then instead of AutoZone, O'Reilly, and Pep Boys for providing billions of dollars in parts to untrained people fixing their own cars? Also, if you watched the video, a certified trained professional misdiagnosed this car and I fixed it correctly the first time. So are you suggesting people should learn from that individual instead of me?" Lone Star responds, "It's against the law to fix air conditioning, which you did in another video." Now wait a minute, why is he watching all my videos if it's illegal to use any of the content and I'm not even qualified to do it anyway? And you were stupid enough to put it online because I'm going to send that video to the FTC. FTC, my God. And they will shut down your fraud little operation and probably worse. The FTC, we'll get there in a second, but by the way, it is not illegal for you to work on your own car. It is not even illegal to work on others' cars without certification, except in the case of air conditioning. He almost has it right there. With air conditioning, in order to be paid for work on another person's vehicle, you are required to have certification. Of course, I don't charge people for work when I do their AC diagnostics. Let's educate this fool. The FTC is the wrong commission, you dope. Maybe if I ever monopolize the auto repair industry, you can report me to them. But for your specific complaint, you would want to report me to the Attorney General's office. In Colorado, that would be 720-508-6000. What are you going to tell them exactly? That a guy who didn't even work on your car is fixing cars properly after professionals fail to do it multiple times, and thus he saves customers money and also reduces vehicle emissions, and he does 80% of this work for charity. Methinks they would more likely pursue the certified professionals. Lone Star responds, doesn't change the fact that what you're doing is illegal and the law is the law. None of this will matter after I shut you down. You don't actually help anyone but yourself in your scam charity. Now that's not true at all. I totally helped him completely out of charity in understanding departments within his own local and federal governments. Plus, I helped him to expand his capabilities in repairing his own vehicle to save him money. This is charity at its finest, if you ask me. Let's see what this next guy has to say. This is Madmanmusicinc, Inc. Why do I get the feeling that he's the only person in his corporation? Let's see what happens. This cat is one stupid and no, I don't mean he isn't smart or intelligent. Well, then I'm not stupid. Because obviously he has background in electrical mechanical engineering, but he isn't even a professional mechanic, and he is teaching do-it-yourselfers who don't have the background he does. Why would anyone watch a do-it-yourselfer who often admits he doesn't know what he is doing? First of all, I don't have a background in mechanical or electrical engineering. And second, that's the whole point of the channel. That's the whole business model, is that it can show any do-it-yourselfer, such as myself, that without having the background, they can still do advanced professional level diagnostics themselves if they just spend a little time studying and getting some basic foundation. It's the whole model of the channel. Moving on. Let's get into an intellectual debate about something that I do have background in, and that would be chemistry. This is from Volcano High. This guy don't know what Hess talking about. Don't waste your time. He thinks he know, but he got no clue what he's saying. Okay, one of the things I do want to point out, let's look back here. Notice that this comment is edited. What exactly is it that he noticed when he reread this and decided that he needed to change it in an attempt to correct it, supposedly? Beats me. My response. No one has any idea what you are talking about, and even if you actually had a specific example, they still wouldn't know what you are talking about because you communicate like a head trauma victim. Volcano High responds, you should not get 0.8 volt on your sensor. You should get 0.45 volt. You put a cat in the car for nothing. As you can see, this is referring to my video where I showed how to tell if you need a new catalytic converter or not by checking to see that you have a rich signal on the catalytic converter, and my response will explain this. You clearly do not understand the basic fundamental chemistry. The catalyst uses all the oxygen when functioning. If there is no oxygen in the exhaust, the O2 sensor reads rich, indicating the catalyst is working. If the catalyst is not working, the exhaust exiting is the same as entering, and thus the rear sensor mirrors the front sensor. I can't make it any simpler than that for you. Tell me how I am wrong. Volcano High responds, it was the molecules. You are totally skipping out on the atomic reactions. Ooh. It was the molecules? Which molecules? What is the balanced equation indicating that the catalyst leaves a molar excess of oxygen in the conversion of hydrocarbons? I'm dying to see your evidence. Volcano High replies, said it was the molecules. It over your head. Yeah. We're thinking the same thing here. I respond, see, the problem here is that you are claiming I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyone reading this is going to think you are a complete incompetent moron. So why not save yourself from embarrassment and just answer a yes or no question? Are you saying that the catalytic reaction leaves an excess of oxygen? That would be a yes or no answer. How does he respond? The molecules and atoms agree with me.
Stop it. Get some help.
I recognize many of you do not have scientific backgrounds or anything, but I can assure you that when scientists communicate and have discussions, it generally doesn't go like that. Let's look at this next asshat. Anthony Gordon says, why don't you shut the f*** up talking about nothing and just tell how to fix it? I respond, you idiot, all that nothing I am talking about is telling you how to fix it. I am explaining how I knew what to fix, you dope. Anthony Gordon responds, I would have had a crank sensor in before you finished jerking off. $25 sensor. You are not saving money if you're spending 4 hours masturbating only to change the sensor anyway. It's amazing how often this happens. Check out my response. Didn't you see the video that the crank sensor was not the problem? You are not saving money when you replace parts that are not broken. So you would have wasted your time and your $25 on a new crank sensor and still not fix this car. So now what do? Especially considering you didn't listen to me on how to properly diagnose it. What's your next move? Fair question that you would think would elicit some type of thought before a response. I'll tell you what I do next. I come over there and kick your ass. That's what I do next. What is with these internet warriors, man? I respond, how are you going to get here exactly since your car still won't start and you can't afford an Uber now that you wasted your last $25?
What a joke.
Anthony responds, you calling me a cyber bully? Cyber with an S. I'm not a cyber bully because I would really kick your ass. No, I'm not calling him a cyber bully. I'm calling him an idiot. There's a difference, you know. He's a bully only when he's on the internet, but he's an idiot at all times in his life. Let's move on to this next asshat. This one's interesting. Halibut81 states, I quite this video at 27 seconds after I am actually a scientist, not a mechanic. How is that doing for you? Maybe you should do a vid on diseases or conditions you actually helped cure. Well, I do that on almost every video on the channel. I show the conditions of the car and then I cure them. Don't put yourself up on a pedestal with academics, because in the middle of a dessert, diplomas will not get you a drink of water. I have some backyard country kids around me with poor penmanship and can't spell worth a damn that would hand you your butt when it comes to any vehicle or equipment with an engine, small or large. Today I was surprised by a young country fellow who is into off-road and mudding that diagnosed and repaired a piece that no one else could fix. So fold up your diploma into a pirate hat. What? We got to look at this guy's profile. Well, I'm not familiar with most of these websites he subscribes to, and by the way, there's well over 150 of them, but I can tell you in spot checking that every one I looked at was a video gaming site. Well, I looked up your accomplishments and all I can find is that it looks like you just sit around playing video games. Halibut responds, my accomplishments? I am a master mechanic level 8 certified automotive trainer. God, again? Really? I do this stuff for a living, and I can tell you that you are nothing more than an amateur at best because you use the diagnostic tools incorrectly and you looked like it was your first time seeing an engine. I've made way better videos than this for training. It is pretty amazing how often these guys always have these outstanding credentials. And why is he giving these credentials and diplomas when he just said those won't even get you a drink of water? And by the way, I thought he said he quit watching after 27 seconds. So how does he know my reactions in looking at the engines and misusing diagnostic tools?
Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way.
The other thing, if you think about it, is how come he is so impressed at some country bumpkin kid that fixed something that no one, including himself, could figure out if he's got all of these amazing credentials? Doesn't add up to me. But I do only have one question for him. To be honest, I'm only really interested in how you determine that those country kids are bad at spelling. What are you basing that from, considering your spelling is worse than a dyslexic with Alzheimer's? Even the autocorrect is like, WTF is that? Well, you don't have to be a good speller to do diagnosis on cars. You just have to know how to look at the information, define what is causing the problem, and then fix it. Yeah, that's precisely what a scientist does. But you said you quit watching as soon as I said I was a scientist because I wasn't qualified to do diagnostics. That seems contradictory to me. Seems like we're on a pretty good trajectory, and we may even have some impact in causing this guy to rethink his foundation. Let's see how he responds. Go self. Yeah, it's usually how this goes. Well, We got time for one more, so let's close it out with a guy who at least does have some type of apparent philosophical background, because he presents me with a dilemma. Since you seem to like challenges, if you are up for a challenge, I will give you two choices. Well, technically that would actually be three choices, because I could decline the challenge. You can either blow Eric the car guy, or you can blow Scotty Kilmer. What's your choice? Well, it certainly is the most intellectual proposition offered by anybody today. Since he did say that I had the ability to opt out of the challenge, that of course would be my preference. But since I don't want to punk out of it that easily, let's make a decision here, and I would say, given the fact that there are alternative definitions of blow, in either of the alternative definitions, I would prefer to do him to Scotty, mostly for the fact that anything he does only seems to last 2.5 minutes, so I'd be done with it either way pretty quickly. In the case of a blow being a strike, I wouldn't mind punching Scotty in the face for basically making a living off of exploiting the ignorance most people have in auto repair, and how he makes them think that they can have professional level skills by just looking at a 2-minute video and really still being a parts changer, actually probably worse than they were before. As far as the second definition, spread by report, yes, I would absolutely do that with Scotty, just like I just did. Basically, when it comes to ignorance on do-it-yourself automotive repair, I'm trying to vaccinate the masses while Scotty is driving the infected lab monkey to the airport. All right, that concludes this silliness for today. Don't forget to check out new videos if you are a member of Schrodinger's Box Quantum Mechanics. Check out the website there. Don't forget, if you are a viewer in a third world or developing country, please PM me your email address so I can check it out, and we will give you free access to the premium content on Schrodinger's Box Quantum Mechanics so that you can get additional training unavailable anywhere else. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this entertaining. We'll see you next time.